This is a rare treat. This is a 4 o'clock toast. I don't usually do them on the weekends. As you can see, I am at the pub. I will eventually be in the kitchen later tonight, so come and eat the food that I am producing with Andre. And we were originally supposed to do this 4 o'clock toast yesterday, but Ryan had double booked um, between the Friday Firkin toast and Matt Allen, who is an amazing dude. And we're just chatting about not having seen each other in quite some time because of all this pandemic and everything that's going on. But Matt, why don't you introduce yourself and tell everybody, who you are and what you do, and where you are in the craft brew industry now.
Well, I mean, basically, I've been brewing for 29 years now, professionally, and set up a bunch of places. I did a lot of consulting. I developed Voodoo Brewing Company, Blue Canoe, and my latest project, and going to be my permanent home for the next 3 years, is John Russell Brewing Company in Erie, PA.
Oh, okay, you're up in Erie, up with Jason, huh?
Yep, yep. Jason's not that too far down the road, and we've been working on a couple things together to help promote Erie.
That's cool. Yeah, I ran into a bunch of guys at one of the BOP. It sounded like Erie is really kind of has a booming beer scene going on right now.
I mean, Erie's been we've got a lot of good breweries. Unfortunately, in Erie, we just we're the bastard corner of the state where most people don't really pay attention to the fact that most people think Erie is in Ohio. So that's kind of always been our plight.
Yeah.
But we've got a great group of guys up here making a lot of great beer.
Excellent. And we met back in the when you were owner and pretty much employee number one of Voodoo Brewing Company, right? That was very early days when we were both distributed by Bella Vista Distributors.
Yeah, I founded Voodoo in 2005, where first shipments went out in 2007, and Bella Vista literally sat outside our house and wasn't leaving until we gave him beer. That's Jordan,
That's I know Jordan. I know him well.
So you know how Jordan is. He's obstinate, and he said, "I'm not leaving until I put, at least 15 kegs of beer in this U-Haul trailer." And that was our first sale. I mean, Philadelphia was our first market.
Yeah, you guys had a pretty wide distribution footprint, right?
We were mostly, Philadelphia was our largest market. We had Pittsburgh, State College, and then we had New Jersey, and then we had, which is now Allegheny distribution, up in Erie, and that was our state coverage.
Okay. I just remember, I remember finding out you guys were at the time only like a 500 barrel brewery, but you had this really wide distribution footprint, which I thought was amazing for what you guys were doing. What is
Yeah, when we got involved in the BOP, we were the smallest well-known brewery ever.
Just so everybody knows, we probably brew about 800 barrels of beer, so we were very comparable to Voodoo in terms of what we did. So, so this new job, this new gig you have, are you brewing there? Are you the brewmaster? What's your you consulting? What's your approach? What are you working on?
Well, no, I took over as the brewmaster. I built it and designed it for them. We can do about 1,100 barrels, and we're on pace to do over 1,100 barrels, even though we're not fully open. But the great thing is we, as John Russell Brewing Company, which is a subsidiary LLC to the UPIC 6 group, which has right now 3 other locations, and we're about ready to open another 2.
Oh wow.
So we'll have 2 more locations down on the water, and we'll be able to serve about 600 people out of those 2, or those 2 locations. The Tap House, which was the second location, that serves about 105 people. Public House, which serves about 250, and Harbor House, which I believe is in the 165 range. And then we can physically serve about, once the patio is done, 100 or about 250.
Awesome. That sounds like a lot of potential customers coming through. Quite a step up from what you're used to, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm really happy. The group's been great. They're making me make some beers I don't necessarily want to make, but they're not telling me to make strawberry shortcake, strawberry ale, lactose stout. So I'm good there.
Well, speaking of lactose and all that, you're one of the beers that I know around here, at least in Doobie's Bar, that had the biggest buzz was Voodoo Cowbell, and when that is a milk stout, imperial milk stout, right?
Yeah, that was actually kind of a joke between myself and Jordan at Bella Vista, where he wanted me to make a milk stout, and then I said, well, why don't we make an imperial milk stout? And then he said, well, why don't you make it well, we could put chocolate in it. And then everybody in the office kind of chimed in, and I said, fine, then we're just going to make a double imperial oatmeal milk stout on nitrogen. That covers all the bases.
Yeah.
And that became Cowbell.
Nice. So what beers do you like to brew? If you're picking, beers for your tap list and no one's telling you what you should brew, what beers are you picking?
I mean, honestly, I love making lagers. I love the technical aspect, getting the water chemistry correct, the delicacy of the product, like how delicate the hopping has to be and the malt has to be. Those are the technical side of what I enjoy making. And then on the other side is the artistic brain that wants to make imperial stouts with strawberries and raspberries, and then I get involved in other things I want to do, but not too far from the main course.
Okay. You guys doing any sours or anything like that out there?
Yeah, we just started a kettle sour project. The first one we did is a blackberry blueberry design, and we have the next one coming out is going to be, we're taking our other guy series, which is an IPA. We're going to start fruiting that and playing with that a little bit so that we can kind of up the awareness of that product. And we've got a shandy coming out, and against my best interest, we're doing a seltzer because they seem to think that we're going to do a seltzer and it's going to take over the world. But I'm pretty sure it's going to be a seltzer.
we do some seltzers, but they move, but they're not. IPAs are still king. They're still the ones that everybody wants to buy. So.
Yeah, and that's basically our case. I don't expect it to do well, but sometimes you got to make it and prove that it's
right,
not worth spending the time doing when there's other products to be made.
Yeah. I get that. I get that. Anything else you want to tell us about what you're doing up there in Erie?
I mean, that's about it. I was heading up the Master Brewers Association. I'm trying to get that driven a little bit so we can get more technical knowledge to the brewers. Again, we're the forgotten area, and it's difficult to try and get everybody's busy, but we also need to forward our thinking and forward our learning on stuff like that. And then I just set up a lab so I can do independent testing for local brewers or any brewer. I did some work with Appalachian. I've done some work with Church Brew Works,
Okay.
and Erie Brewing Company, just to try and segregate some issues that we might have and work forward on, yeast development.
That's cool.
I think that's the next thing is for us to be able to start testing our yeast and making sure that we're good on that.
I know Yards is always good in this area, helping small brewers with QC and doing that kind of stuff. So it's good that you guys are doing stuff like that up there. It's important.
Yeah, those guys are awesome. I mean, every time if I ever talk to Tom or anything and have any questions, he immediately says, I can do whatever you want, help you out. So, Tom's always been an amazing ambassador.
I wish more of the new brewery owners act like him. He's one of a kind. He's an amazing dude.
Tom's one of my favorites. I love him.
Yeah.
And you guys have been always great ambassadors. You've always done a lot of work, and you've always done a ton of help. And on top of that, put out good product. That's the key, is putting out good product and talking well amongst peers instead of combative. I think that's the biggest thing.
I agree.
I've been a guy that's always wanted to make sure everybody gets along, and that's how we grow.
Yeah, man. I appreciate that.
And you've always been definitely in that round table as far as what goes on and wanting to know and lending your knowledge as well as taking in the knowledge. So it's a good group. We've got a good group of people.
Yeah.
Not everybody's on the table, but there's ones we know that are worth it.
Absolutely. I keep telling Jason I'll have to get out there and do like a brew with a couple of breweries out that way. So I'll make sure I hit you up too if I get out there. We can
I'd give anything to do a collaborative beer with you. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, we'll work that out because it's awesome now that we're fully vaccinated. It's actually I can go visit my dad and then come down to Erie. It's actually just the same amount of trip to go to Buffalo and then Erie than it is to go straight to Erie from Philadelphia. So it'll be a nice little segue for us. But so listen, man, we're about 13 minutes, so I know you're in the car. You're not going to be drinking, not going to be cheersing, but you can kind of tip your hat unless you are drinking in the car. I don't know what happens in Erie. There we go.
I got a beer.
Thanks so much for talking to us, Matt. Cheers, man. That's once again Matt Allen, and what's the John Russell Brewing Company? Is that what it's called?
John Russell Brewing Company. It's on Upper Peach Street, right off of I-90 in Erie. So you really can't miss it. It's a quick jaunt off to say hello and have a beer, and then get right back on the 90 and head east or west.
Go check them out as you're traveling. If you're in the area, if any of my Yinzers are watching this, go take a ride up C9 and go see Matt. So thanks for watching, everybody. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you on Monday. Cheers.